4 will show the results. Is it going to be a 3-1 for Dominator? Is it going to be a Game 5 for the series? It's for them to tell.
When we get into Game 4 and Game 5, well, I do believe that Game 4 is a lot harder than Game 5. I'm sorry, like that's just the way that I see it. Game 4 is so much more harder than Game 5 because Game 5 is just like toss whatever that you have. But Game 4 this has the level of complexity of, do I keep options open for the next game or do I go all in? That is something that coaches and players need to start thinking. Let's jump into the beep here real quick. KAGENDRA is going to be on the blue side and Dominator Esports is going to be on the red. KAGENDRA is going to show us the main prio ban that they have over that chat. They will not allow that Dominator Esports to put their hands on it.
And Dominator Esports answering the same. It's like, hey, you can ban out CC, who had an amazing performance in the first 2 games. You can ban out Chucha, you can ban out Arlie. We can do the same as well. Fisher had an amazing performance last game, so we're banning out, okay, I think you said core carries, Luna, and also Fane. 2 of the biggest ones in global after Jing. So we might see a potential hero like Hansen. I think this will come out. I think so.
What? Hansen coming up?
I'm not kidding. I have a feeling.
Again, it's one of those OG heroes that I love. But really? Hansen? I don't know, man. I don't know. There's still other options right out there. Musashi, one of them. Musashi is a very interesting hero because if you know how to play it well, you can get a very big advantage, but it's very difficult to play it well. That is the very big problem with Musashi.
Ooh, but look at the setup here. It's looking like Dominator Esports could go for 2 angles. 1, Assassin versus Assassin. 2, they could go for the Monkey to counteract against the Sword Master, but they picked the first route that we mentioned. It's gonna be TNX going on the Broken Mirage Jing to rival against Fisher's Sword Master Musashi. This is gonna be an epic one. Assassin versus Assassin setup. We love those.
Show me Assassins against Assassins every single day. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my preferences, Sagi, and I know that it might not please a lot of people. For me, jungle is for the assassins. For me, jungle is not for the tanks, and jungle is not for the big people. Jungle is for the ones that can come in, clean, and move out. That is just how I see the game, and that's just the game that I love and that I fell in love with.
Yeah, you know, remember the days where it's like jungle versus jungle assassins, Luna versus Jing, Luna versus Levi, Hansing versus Jing. Oh my god, those are nice. And right now we're getting it as well. Dominator Esports drafting a cheeky mid-roam composition here. We have the Bond Weaver plus the Princess Frost. You CC with the Bond Weaver spell 2 and go in with the Princess Frost freeze. So if they can pull that off multiple times in the early game, that could be pretty big. But check out KAGENDRA here. The delivery system being hovered and locked in. So we will see Fisher with that Sword Master popping the duel to the death towards the backline, carrying the ultimate on that Liu Bang, immediately exploding them. But check out Dominator 2. Look at that Fuzi.
Wow, Fuzi. The wise sage Fuzi. I love the Fuzi because it has one of the very interesting mechanics in the game, right? Like Fuzi is just the master of those 1v1s. You take a 1v1 against the Fuzi and it's very difficult to beat him because of the nature of the design of the hero. It can just sustain a lot, it can deal a lot of damage. It has in his ultimate, it has a very nice control. It is a beautiful, beautiful hero. And when you play it in different strategies, you can actually use it not only for fighting, but just to split push, destroy turrets, and then just for him to run away. Very mobile, very strong pick.
And to your point as well, let's add on one more.
Yeah.
If Liu Bang wants to ult away to help Fisher, Ozzy's like, hey, go away. I'm just going to pummel all your towers in that one lane.
That's it. Done. You're gone. Turrets are gone in there. It's just a matter of destruction. It just completely depends on the strategy that you want to play, right? Because if you are able to do that, it's gonna have to be an answer. Imagine this. Let's just draw it. Let's just draw the two options here. Let's imagine that they're just gonna be having a 1v1 over there on the clash lane, Liu Bang has the upper hand because he can actually use his ultimate, his battle command, in order to move himself, TP himself into the fights. So then they can start winning the fights. But if they start winning the fights and Futsu decides not to join, they're gonna start losing the lanes. And we know that losing the lanes and getting super minions too early in the game is going to be bad news for Dominator.
So, like that mentioned, right? Every single engage that's being committed by KAGENDRA needs to be getting more value. Meaning that, let's say, if we go for the engage, we cannot just get one. We need to get more than one. If we get more than one, sure, then we can mitigate the turret loss in the side lane. But if we go for the engage, we get 0 or only 1, turrets are not going to be a happy one in this game for the side of KAGENDRA.
Let's look at the mid lane right now, the matchup between Senku and Gerald that we highlighted at the beginning of the stream. It's going to be a Nuwa against a Princess Frost. The Princess Frost with the very strong, very big aerial effect with the winters here. But the Nuwa, as the time goes, with the inhalation, the amount of damage that the Nuwa can deal makes it a very mid to late game hero.
Yeah, the Celestial is one of the...
Very different styles.
For me, the Celestial on the hands of Senko, it's actually one of the prime picks in this meta. I would say that she's definitely S tier in terms of late game. Sure, you can say that early game, her wave clear is pretty bad, not to say good, but if you're into certain matchups like a Princess Frost, it's still okay because both of your wave clears are pretty mediocre, which equates it into a 50-50.
Let's look at the rotations in here. Look at that. Like they clean wave and then immediately come and try to put pressure over here on CC on the channel. So we will be seeing a lot of that. Junglers just doing what the junglers do. But look at that, Lu being taken extremely low. He's gonna have to run away of that.
Yeah, no common spells being popped by both ends here, but Lu getting the better end of that trade. Gerald has to limp away back towards mid lane with a sliver of health here as we see towards the bottom side here. L getting pushed back by the creation block here, going dangerously low here, so both roamers have to back off here. But Zan and also Lu, they don't have innate healing like L on the Diadea Bond Weaver, so that's gonna be a relatively good news for the Dominator duo.
Is to give.
Playing at the edge of the HP bars right now, and like they're just trying to calculate all of the damage. They're playing the numbers game right now at this moment in time. Look at that, they've moved and it's already been a whole minute that they have had that 3v3 over there at the farm lane. Nothing that, no rotations whatsoever to the mid, allowing TLX just to take full control of the gold.
I think that's a scary thing about CC, right? Every single rotation that we've seen from KAGENDRA is to suppress CC, making sure that Zan doesn't have a horrible time in farm lane. As long as Zan safely scales 3 items, then laning phase doesn't really matter. But if Zan falters in laning phase, that's gonna be a pretty big issue, especially if you're playing a hero that's super late game here. Lu checks the bush, has the invincible passive on towards the spell, doesn't get crowd control here. CC spawns the wolf pack here, forces Zan to back away towards safety here. We see this 3v3 yet again. Isaac is revolving around the farm lane.
It's just revolving around here, and the problem is that Facer cannot make it on time just to try to capitalize out of those fights, right? Like it's been very difficult for Facer to really understand the timing of those little fights, because if he could actually come in with his ulti, he could have caught 1 or 2 kills at least.
That's the thing, right? Whereby early game jungle actually doesn't gank that much. It's really revolving around the mid and roam to create chances for the team. And once after 4 minutes, that's where junglers start having the Axe of Torment, the first 2 items Power Spike. That's where they actually start being more active on the map. So it's down to the mid and roam this game. Gerald, L from side Dominator, Senko and Lu from the side of KAGENDRA to look for those early plays. And at the very least, this early game is that 3v3 in towards the bottom side. No one is giving a single edge towards either side.
No one is just allowing an option here. Look at that, the mirror domain is going to be proc one more time. It is just trying to force them away. For TNX, that mirror domain is going to be a very important skill. It's not going to happen open, and right now in 8 seconds, the objectives are going to be online.
Yeah, that's a painful cooldown to be committed coming in from the Dominator jungler. But we do see Facer not putting too much focus on towards the Tyrant here. We do see due to the death, pop over towards top Z. Have to force the flash, but a good stage might locks Facial in place. And on towards the flip side here, we see TNX securing the objective safely for the team. Pops the mirror domain, locks on towards Lu. Lu using the Tremor Smash to bail himself out towards safety here. Jurl has a position, freezes Lu, drops the Winters here, gets the first blood for Dominator Esports, opens up the bot side of the map.
Right over there on the edge of that frigid prison, Lu thought that he was safe, but he was caught in day by Gerald. Gerald with that millimetric precision allows him to take that first blood in here for Dominator Esports.
Top side here, Solid has to commit the flash here. Top Z using the stage might, locking Solid in towards its place here. But still early game Futsu doesn't commit too much of the damage here. But hang on a moment though with those passive refreshes here. This is super duper close. Is he going for the dive here? He's capable of doing so. But check out the rotations here. Kagendra needs to defend their clash lane here. So a big rotation bails Solid out. And he is alive for another day.
Right over here, Dominator Esports a little bit with the advantage. I'm not loving the performance by Facial on that Musashi right now. He had a very big advantage over here for the objectives, and he decided not to take that. Force top Z came in, but look at that.
On towards PNX. And right now we see Solid being frozen in the midst of everything here, but no real follow-up here. Not enough members here. Well, we do see a pause coming in at the 5th minute mark. We do need to check out what's...
Go back. You can see them already set. And we are back. We're back online. It's our game, KIS4. We are going to retake the game back again over here as we hit the 6 minutes mark.
At the 6 minute mark, we do see Kagendra losing out a 1,000 gold deficit in towards the hands of Dominator Esports. Topside turret looks to be in shambles coming in from Kagendra. And on the flip side, TNX perfectly catches the wave crumbling into that bot tower. So at the very least, this part of the game is looking very Dominator heavy. And take a look at this part of the map. They're looking to invade this Crimson Gold. TNX gets it, swaps out with the mirror, and is out alive. A smooth criminal.
It's smooth, very, very suave over there. Look at that solo as well, just coming in, being taken extremely long. That's going to be Top C, the one that's going to be ganking. So 3v1, he's going to have to flash away. Zan is going to take on CC. CC is going to fall, but Top C is able to run away.
But in terms of objectives, losing out the mid turret and at the brink of losing the bottom tower, sure, take CC. We got all 3 towers from all across the map. This is a horrible exchange for Kagendra. Dominator is winning the map so hard.
I will take that, man. I'm telling you, if it is gonna have to take my marksman's life, it's alright as long as I can just trade that for 3 different turrets all over the map. Look at that one more time. It's going to be Dominator Esports, the ones that are in control of the game right now.
Yeah, this is looking pretty difficult for Sada Kagendra, but they do have really good late game insurance in the form of Zan and Senko. The Celestial, the Steady Will, very good in that late game, so we can see signs of hope as long as the goal doesn't break over that 4 to 5k marker for Sada Dominator.
You bring in a very interesting topic, right, Sagi? Because if Kagendra can just kind of just keep pushing it and pushing it and push it, we've already seen in previous games when that Flowborn Marksman is online what it can do. As we can see right now, one more time, the Golem is going to be the target, and it's going to be another steal by TNX. He's got it that on time.
He's paying back for whatever Facial did to him in that previous game here. But mid lane here, Annihilation catches on towards Gerald here. Beautiful engage coming in from Facial due to the death. Mirror Domain catches on towards no one here. It's just a wave here to Zan. Has to back away as this TNX build is looking for a tanky Jing. But you can see, that's the aggression that I want to be seen coming in from Facial and Solid. This 2 combination needs to find more room for Kagendra if they want to break this game open.
Exactly. I completely agree with you in that, Sagi. They need to do things. They need to come in and start breaking stuff. If they don't break stuff and they just let this keep going, nothing is gonna happen. They have a very good option. Movement around. Just get some dynamic in here, and then you'll be able to see that it's gonna pay off for them.
Right now it's looking really 50-50 between these two teams. It's coming down to execution later on in team fights. That's tough. Z gets the first kill, but panning on towards the top side here. We see Fisher yet again finding another engager, but backline, we see TNX jumping in with the mirror domain, catches on towards Zan, but this is a tag Jing. There's no real damage to be frightful about. They do trade jungle for jungle, but in terms of overall kills, KAGENDRA takes it 1-for-2 in this exchange.
TNX had his eyes on Zan. Zan was taken extremely low, but the problem is that TNX did not have the critical damage that he needed. If he would have had in there a tiny bit more of damage, Zan would have been got out of the equation, and probably TNX would have survived that gank. It was not on that turn. He chosen to go for the tanky build for that Jing. So it's a very big problem because he's just keep dying one more time.
It gives you more room to survive, but it also takes away the burst damage potential on the Jing.
Yes.
But it's give and take, right? He chose that lifestyle and he is slightly punished for it, but right now, 10 minutes. Shadow objectives are all across the map. We see movements coming in from both teams wanting to look at this Shadow Tyrant. This fight may be breaking out in a short moment.
Already 50% on that Shadow Tyrant, and then Facia is so far away from the battle that it's gonna be free. It's gonna be a free Dark Tyrant for DMT.
That was relatively an easy one with zero contention coming in from KAGENDRA. Goal lead wise, they are down to 50-50, but Facia gives up entirely of their control. Saleh gets checked on that push. We do see a push being formulated by Dominator members on mid and top of this map.
Their target is gonna be the flash lane tier 2 turret, and it's going to fall as the minions are gonna put some pressure on the high ground. They might not have the formation to actually do anything here.
This round of push is to pluck away all the outer tier towers, and then once it's done, they might look for that Shadow Overlord here. Maybe KAGENDRA, not wanting to fight the 10th minute fight, is to stall more time for Zan, for Senko, to skill into that late game marker here. But take a look at Luke here, getting pinned down by the Diadea. Very low in that health bar here, opens up the map on towards the top side for CC to drop those signaling shots on that turret. Already half health here, but with that rotation, mid is open, everywhere else is open. Tyrant is about to be done for Dominator. They will recollect this jungle resource and look for Overlord.
The Overlord is going to be the next target. 5 seconds over there. That's going to slow them down a tiny little bit. But Facia does not have vision on what's going on. It is going to be an easy DMT Shadow Overlord.
Yeah, there's no contention coming in from the side of KAGENDRA here. They're not that behind in terms of gold, but they're just giving away these shadow objectives like it's free bees going over to the side of Dominator.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, man. Like, it's just, it feels right now a tiny bit like KAGENDRA does not have a possible answer to this more than just praying just for the time just to keep passing and just keep building on Zan. If Zan is to fall in one of these, in one of these battles to protect high ground, that's gonna be it for KAGENDRA.
And talking about this, topside tier 3 already fallen full inside of KAGENDRA here. With the superior Overlord marching down the bottom side here. This might happen the same for this bottom tier 3. Winter is here, dropping onto zone away the members here. Where is the retaliation? There's no real play coming from KAGENDRA. This is such a slow bleed coming in from the Elmanu.
One more banger is going to come in and put pressure over there on the mid lane. Look at that. The Musashi coming in from behind. He's going to find the channel. The channel is going to fall. The mirror domain is going to be proc. The target is going to be the crystal. The crystal is going to fall. Dominator Esports is going to take the third game and their first victory in this KIS 4.
Very well done coming in from the Dominator Esports here. Once again, in the international stage, they pulled the first victory against an IKL team for the Indonesia IKO regions here. Props to them. And look at TNX. He's just standing there. He's just aura farming, pointing it at the dominated esports logo, showing absolute dominance against KAGENDRA.
I love that. Student business. He came in, delivered, let him aura farm for a tiny little bit. I think that he's earned it. He's earned it. Let him go and go crazy a little bit. Very well done. Dominator Esports comes in a very dominant fashion. They came into this game. This was the
I think it's really evident that
sports
in this game itself,
really way better than KAGENDRA.
I think, Isaac, this game itself, it showed us the curve of Dominator's ability in adapting towards the game. Where game one, absolute destruction coming in from Dominator Esports with that composition. Game two, playing from behind, slow, composed, waiting for species item power spike. Game three, learning from the idea that, hey, not the best composition, but hey, calm those nerves, calm those composures. We bring it to a game four, and game four, you see, even though if they lose out the early game in terms of the kills, in terms of some of the objectives, fine by it. They played the late game rotations, the mid game tower takes super duper well. Just excellent showcase coming in from DMT.
Perfect performance in here for DMT. Congratulations. They are going to take their first victory over here in Group B. It's going to give them an advantage, right? Because right now, KAGENDRA, after losing this game, they're going to be put against the wall. If they still want to win their group, they need to go in their next two matches, and they're going to have to go all in to try to take two victories and pray that Dominator doesn't win all their games.
That's going to be difficult, I would say, especially for KAGENDRA state right now. But hey, every day is a new day coming in for the group stages, so the best they can do, even if they lose everything, which I'm not implying that they will, they still make it to the knockout stage, but they won't get the privilege of selecting their opponents here. So that's something they need to look out for.
Talking a little bit about Dominator. Dominator today, they just showed us in these 4 games ups and downs that they make me a little bit concerned, right? Like, we cannot just look at the win and look at the victory and just believe that they're just this perfect team. There were some moments in this whole performance where KAGENDRA was way superior to Dominator. So we gotta be very careful with this. I hope that they can go back and really analyze what were the reasons that put them on their back foot so easily and so frequently in these 4 games.
I think if we were to look at it from a standpoint, in terms of drafting, if you give KAGENDRA a solid one that they're used to, they're really good. As we can see from the game 3, they absolutely demolished Dominator Esports. But if you watch game 4, this is a very 50-50 draft from both teams, but the 10-minute mark is really something that scratches my brain. I'm not trying to talk bad about KAGENDRA or push shame on the players.
No, you're just trying to analyze it, man.
Yeah, we're trying to analyze why at the 10th minute mark they gave away every single objective within a 2,000 goal lead deficit, right? They were giving away Shadow Overlords, they were giving away Shadow Tyrants for free, no contention, no whatsoever of an answer. So that's really something that I want to deep dive into KAGENDRA's game plan on why it exactly happened.
Maybe this is one of those moments where when you have a jungler like Faces who's completely new to the team, like KAGENDRA had already understood the timings when Weroll was in charge, right? Like, everyone understood exactly what was going to be the gameplay. I feel like right now, when Faces is going to be the person in there in charge of controlling the main objectives, they're still trying to understand a little bit about his game understanding and about what the team wants to do. Maybe that is going to was one of the reasons. It is a possibility. I would love to have a conversation with the players just to kind of understand exactly what is going on in their minds in terms of having a new member in there that has such a critical position at the moment.
I think you make a lot of sense, right? If, let's say, the new player comes in, there's a language barrier, that's lack of practice between the teams. Maybe this is something that will show on the game itself, where you see the macro play, the map movements. It's not as clean compared to Dominator Esports.
the macro is always important, right? Like you always start thinking about like what heroes you're gonna have and how their mechanics are important. But you start thinking about like the whole big picture, right? Like you start thinking about what is gonna give us the victory in here. I do believe that in this game, Dominator had a better, bigger plan than what Kagendra actually had. It came to a moment in the game where it just felt like Kagendra was pretty aimless. It just had no direction of what they wanted to do, kind of like just waiting for a Dominator mistake instead of them trying to force it.
Perfectly agreed, right? Where we saw in moments of the Musashi plus the Liu Bang combination, the delivery system towards whichever target they're locking on. In the early game, we saw a few moments catching on towards Princess Frost, catching on towards the Bomb Weaver coming from Dominator. But after that, 10 minutes mark is where there's no action coming from Kagendra. It's just slow but surely giving up everything towards the hands of Dominator, and it led to a game-winning push for DMT with no struggle coming from Kagendra.
Well, they will still have time for them to fix this, as both of these teams still have 2 more games, right? Like in that Group B, both of them, they still have games against Team Hack and against Boom Esports. So they still have time to think about these things. The problem is that the pressure of the fans wanting the results and the pressure of the organization just hoping that this 2026 is going to be different than the 2025, that kind of pressure starts building up as well. So hopefully the players and the coaches can have enough space to really, with a calm mind, look at the footage and really just get to improve in their performance from today.
Man, it's like what we say, all right, better to lose now than to lose at a larger stage, right? Right now you're losing in group stage, maybe that gives you some form of fix of your gameplay, but you're going into that later stage to that playoff set. But let's award the MVP of this game number 4. It will be the mid lane coming in from Dominator Esports Gerald with that Princess Force performance.
A 2-1-2 KDA, which does not show like a lot, but it was just a very important, just right over there. Look, like the Princess Frost ult in here with the Frigid Prison, followed it by the Winters here.
Yeah, and you can see this fight, yes, you get CC, but you see the entire rotation just going towards the bottom side, picking up all the towers for Dominator, and these are the few moments that we're seeing like, okay, good, Facer, Solé synergy, picking up multiple kills for the team, and even TNX going in for the deep dive. He got punished in this play, but later on, where did the aggression fade off to? There was no convincing play coming in from the side of Kagendra. It's just Dominator playing the team fights like it's their playground in the enemy base, leading to this easy pickup win in this game 4.
You can see the reason why Gerald got that MVP, right? Like every single ulti that he put out there, it was always on point.